Welcome to another episode of Nexus. Today, we dive into one of the most significant military disasters in history, Napoleon Bonaparte's defeat in Russia. This story is a mix of ambition, strategy, and relentless nature that ultimately led to Napoleon's downfall. It's the year 1812. Napoleon Bonaparte is at the height of his power. His empire stretches almost across Europe, but one major adversary still defies his dominance: Imperial Russia. Driven by his desire to defeat Tsar Alexander I and secure his absolute control over the continent, Napoleon embarks on an invasion that will prove to be his greatest mistake. In June 1812, Napoleon's Grande Armée, the largest military force ever assembled in Europe, with over 600,000 soldiers, crosses the Neman River and enters Russia. Napoleon expects a swift victory, but little does he know that his enemy is ready with a strategy that will utterly drain him. The Russians, led by General Mikhail Kutuzov, opt for a strategy of withdrawal. Instead of direct confrontation with Napoleon's troops, the Russian army retreats, destroying towns and food supplies behind them. Napoleon's troops, unprepared for such a strategy, are left without resources and face hunger and exhaustion. Napoleon's forces enter deserted towns, facing burned lands and harsh climate. As they advance, the French troops reach Moscow, but instead of victory, Napoleon finds the city in flames. The Russians have abandoned the city and set it on fire to prevent it from falling into Napoleon's hands. After several weeks of waiting, with no negotiations with Tsar Alexander, Napoleon makes a fateful decision to retreat. His army, already exhausted and without supplies, begins the long journey back through the merciless Russian winter. The return from Russia turns into a nightmare. Temperatures drop below freezing, and Napoleon's soldiers, ill-equipped for the weather, die from frostbite, starvation, and attacks by Russian guerrillas. Soldiers fall one by one, and the once invincible Grande Armée now crumbles. In just a few months, Napoleon's army is reduced to less than 100,000 soldiers. The Russian strategy of withdrawal and the brutal winter have shattered the French military power, and Napoleon, once a seemingly invincible leader, faces humiliation. Upon returning to France, Napoleon faces the loss of power and allies turning against him. The invasion of Russia, meant to secure his dominance over Europe, marks the beginning of the end for the famed military leader. Napoleon's defeat in Russia stands as a symbol of how ambition, without wise judgment and preparation, can lead to disaster. This military campaign remains one of the most renowned in history, a testament to how nature and strategy can be the most dangerous enemies. Thank you for joining us in this episode. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more historical stories. Until the next episode, stay curious,